Quick disclaimer, information in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended to be treated as medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare team before making changes to your diet, lifestyle, supplementation, or medication.
No matter how long you've been stuck, no matter how many times you've tried and felt like you've failed, you can always start again. There's no timeline, there's no deadline. What matters is you take that first step and then the next and the next.
Welcome to Type 2 Diabetes Talk, the place where we chat about what really works to treat type 2 diabetes and prediabetes naturally with nutrition and lifestyle. If you're looking to optimize blood sugar and A1C, lose weight, reduce medications, and improve your overall health, this is the place to be. Now, here's your host, Type 2 Diabetes Nutrition Specialist, Dr. Jetta.
Hello, wonderful people, and thanks for joining me for what I hope you will find an insightful and motivational episode. Today we're talking about something that applies to every single one of us, whether we're managing diabetes or not, or simply trying to maintain good health. And that is how to get from where you are to where you want to be. If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or maybe frustrated because things aren't moving as fast as you'd like, or not even moving at all, you're not alone. In fact, perhaps you feel like you're stuck in a loop and you're getting absolutely nowhere. You look back at the past year or two or three and think, I did have intentions to get my act together. I did have intentions to change this or that, work on this or that, but here I am, still treading water. Or maybe you're feeling completely deflated and beating yourself up because your health has gotten worse and you know it's because you've done nothing about it. Here's one example. A few years ago, Frank's A1C level was 7.9. He was looking around for diet information to help him get his levels under control. But in reality, he just never got stuck in and did anything. He kept surfing around the Wild West Web, sometimes feeling confused about what to do, not really understanding his numbers, kept thinking about doing something, but not actually doing anything much at all. A few years later, Frank has now found himself on multiple medications, including insulin and Ozempic, with numbers still out of control. And worse, now Frank is experiencing multiple side effects from the medications. Side effects that are actually developing complications that are interfering with his life, which he is very concerned about. Unfortunately, Frank's story is fairly common, and there is certainly no blame or shame here. We're not doing that. And if you are listening and thinking, wow, that sounds like me, then firstly, let go of your own blame and shame if you have it, as we know that's also common, but it's not necessary. Instead, let's explore what we can learn from Frank's story because, let's face it, we've all been in these battles at different times of our lives. You might be in a certain place right now, but where you really want to be is over there. And you may wish there was that switch that could magically transport you there overnight. The truth is, though, despite how much we wish that, we all know deep down that's not the case. Creating change in our lives doesn't magically happen overnight. But here's the thing. Many of us think that change requires some massive overhaul of our entire lifestyle. We might tell ourselves things like, I'll start that strict diet tomorrow, or I'll cut out all carbs starting next week. But when tomorrow comes, by 3 p.m. you're exhausted, or life happens, motivation dips, and suddenly we're right back where we started, if we even got started at all. Without a doubt, change can seem overwhelming. Dealing with a health condition can seem overwhelming. Overwhelm can lead us to inaction, to do nothing, to stick our head in the sand, thinking something will just magically change itself. Unfortunately, it doesn't, as Frank discovered. It got worse. So you might be in a certain place right now, and it might be a really crappy place. where you really want to be is over there. There's no magic switch, there's no magic pill, but the power is in your hands to change things. Here's the thing, and it's the one key thing to take away from today, and that is you don't change by doing everything perfectly or all at once. You change by building small habits that you do consistently. It's not the perfect week or the one perfect meal that transforms your health. It's the small, daily actions done over and over, choosing healthy meals one after the other. The small, consistent things create long-term results. Let me give you an example, and since we've been talking about Frank, let's think about 2 ways Frank could approach this. Frank is a person who starts his day with a big bowl of sugary cereal and a glass of orange juice. Frank's been doing this for years, and now it feels automatic. It's just what he does. He doesn't think about it, it's just autopilot. Frank could try to wake up one day and completely change his entire breakfast routine, but that's one reason he hasn't, because it's overwhelming. He doesn't even know where to start, and because this habit is so deeply ingrained, he just wakes up and automatically heads for that big bowl of sugary cereal and a glass of orange juice. Now imagine instead that Frank starts with one small change, switching the orange juice for green tea, water, or a protein drink. It's a small shift and doesn't sound like much, but over time it can reduce Frank's overall sugar and carb intake and help stabilise his blood sugar levels and his appetite. Once that habit sticks, it opens the door for Frank to make more changes, like switching up the type of cereal he eats or swapping cereal for other types of breakfast foods. And then once Frank gets those things sorted, he can start planning ahead for balanced lunches. Frank now wants to continue working on changes because he sees his numbers improving and he wants to get off the medications that are causing all these side effects and complications in his life. Often change is like seasoning a dish. You don't want to dump a whole jar of salt into the pot and hope it turns out well. It's not going to. You add a little, taste it, adjust, and keep building flavour until you get the result you want. That's what habits do. They build over time and layer into something powerful. We have to get rid of the all or nothing mentality, those types of things we discussed earlier where you might be like, I'll start a strict diet tomorrow, or I'll cut out all those carbs starting next week, but when tomorrow comes, nothing, or you don't even last through the first day. This creates such a negative feedback loop in our lives, in the way we feel, in our motivation and our commitment. And when we think about it, it's a silly way to go about things. It's so common, but at some point in our lives, we've all done it. And at some point in our lives, we all have to move past this as well. But it's not easy because the thing is, habits do run deep, so it's unrealistic, though, to place such high expectations on yourself. Would you place such high expectations on your best friend or a family member, or would you be encouraging them with all the small steps they make? We can change habits. We can get from where we are to where we want to be in small, simple, doable steps that keep us progressively moving forward. Big, overwhelming goals and the trap of the all or nothing thinking. Well, let's dive a little deeper into this because this is where so many people, just like Frank, get stuck. So we really need to emphasize it. We set ourselves up with these huge expectations, thinking, yeah, I'll go from eating all of this high carb, high sugar meals, maybe it's 300-400 grams of carbs a day, to a completely new and different diet tomorrow, in one day. Or you might say to yourself, I'll cut out every bad food and stick to it perfectly this time. Maybe you've attempted this. Maybe you've had that moment of inspiration where you've cleared out your fridge and your pantry, done a big meal prep session and told yourself, this is it. I'm going to be perfect this time. But by day 2 or 3, reality hits, life gets busy, you feel stressed, tired, or you're simply craving something familiar. And what happens? You slip up. Maybe you eat something off plan or give in to that tempting dessert and suddenly you feel like you've failed again. Here's the truth. You didn't fail, the goal failed you. The problem isn't that you had a slip up. It's that the goal was too big and unrealistic in the first place. Not that many people are able to just go cold turkey and completely change their whole diet plan tomorrow. Sometimes those big sweeping changes might feel exciting. Yes, some people can do it, but in reality for most of us, they're not sustainable because they ignore the fact that habits, especially eating habits, are deeply ingrained. We've built them over years, so they're not going to change overnight. Real change takes time, patience, and consistently showing up for yourself. Yes, you need to take action, because if you do nothing at all, chances are things will get worse, like they did for Frank. But instead of focusing on being perfect, focus on progress. What's one small step you can take today that feels manageable? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's switching from white bread to a lower carb bread. Maybe it's switching the fruit juice out for the water or the protein drink. Maybe it's swapping a sugary yogurt for plain Greek yogurt and adding a few berries for sweetness. Maybe it's cutting down on candy. Maybe it's as simple as taking the time to read food labels and choosing a different source with less sugar. It's not about doing it all at once. It's about choosing that one thing you can commit to and doing it consistently. And the beauty of this approach is once you build one small habit, it gives you the confidence and momentum to add the next one. Don't underestimate the power of these small changes. They may seem insignificant, but they're not. They're the building blocks for success, meal by meal, habit by habit. That's how you create sustainable change that leads to lower blood sugar, losing weight, lowering cholesterol, or whatever goal it is you need or want to achieve. Give yourself permission to take it one small step at a time, because those small steps will take you farther than any perfect week ever could. Consistency is more important than perfection.
With Dr. Jetta's VIP online membership, you'll have proven, practical support to lower blood sugar, weight, and medication. Access detailed guides to understand exactly what to eat. Explore the huge members library. Browse thousands of easy, diabetes-friendly recipes. Use the health log to track your progress and improve your numbers. And join monthly member check-ins for personal feedback and trusted support whenever you need it. Join as a VIP member today. Visit type2diabetestalk.com/programs.
Let's talk about something really important when it comes to getting from where you are to where you want to be. Proactive management. One of our members, Doug, got me thinking about this during one of the monthly member check-ins. He realised that when he was more actively managing his diabetes, his outcomes were always better, which of course makes sense. But here's the thing, whether it's improving blood sugar, losing weight, or just maintaining good health, whether a person is living with diabetes or not, having good health isn't something you can put on autopilot. Good health doesn't magically happen. Good health is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. That can sound a little overwhelming, but if you take a moment to think about that, it's empowering because it means you're in control. When you show up for yourself, when you check in with yourself daily, you make small corrections or adjustments to the course you're taking that keep things on track. You tweak one small thing, you add one small thing, you switch out that juice, you bring awareness to a habit that needs altering. That's what proactive management is all about, slowly and consistently building our health. And as we achieve things, we adjust the course again, see if we can tweak something else, and we keep progressing forward proactively. A lot of this comes down to mindfulness and building awareness. That's something we have to nurture within ourselves in order to realise where we truly are at and constructively consider how we might get from where we are to where we want to be. Let's use an example. You might start the day with a healthy, low-carb breakfast, but what happens if you hit a mid-morning slump and reach for a high-sugar snack? Without proactive management, you might think, oh, well, I've already messed up today, might as well keep going. Next thing, your whole day has derailed, or even worse, a whole month, because you failed again, so you might as well keep failing forward. But if you're proactively managing, you pause, recognise the slip, and make a better choice at lunch. Maybe you have a salad and some protein instead of grabbing that quick sandwich loaded with hidden carbs. And when the mid-afternoon slump comes, instead of going for that sugary snack again, you don't grab that sugar because you're proactively managing, you're aware and considering those effects. Proactive management of our health isn't, again, about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about showing up for yourself, caring for yourself, and checking in with yourself daily and asking yourself things like, what did I eat today? How did it affect my energy or blood sugar? What could I do differently tomorrow? It's about considering what's actually working for you and what's not. This doesn't mean you have to obsess over every meal, but it does mean staying engaged in the process. Because if you don't correct the course as you go, you could end up miles off track without even realising it, just like Frank did. Without a doubt, life is busy and you're probably juggling a million things, most people are. But ignoring your health won't make the problem go away. If anything, it gets worse, just like it did for Frank. But the opposite is also true. When you proactively engage in small daily decisions, you create momentum. And then momentum builds confidence and it builds results. So how do you practice proactive management without it feeling overwhelming? Well, you can ask those questions just by checking in with yourself each day. And you can start by choosing just one or two things to check in on daily. For example, your meal planning. Spend a few minutes each night thinking about what you eat the next day. Your blood sugar awareness. Track how your body responds to certain meals so you can make those adjustments based on actual feedback from your body. Or simple food swaps. When shopping, check labels and choose lower carb alternatives where you can. Show up for yourself daily in small, manageable ways because consistency beats perfection every time. The more you engage with your daily habits, the more natural they'll become. Over time, what once felt like a huge effort will become second nature. You won't even have to think about it. You'll just be doing that as your new normal. Before we chat about another very important thing, let's hear a testimonial from one of our members.
Beverly said, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. My last two HbA1c results were great. 6.4 and 6.3. I started at 9.2. I have lost around 20 kilos, 44 pounds.
Now let's talk about something that might make you a little uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Tough love. We can spend a lot of time talking about small habits, progress, and active management, but at the end of the day, none of that matters if you don't take responsibility. And I know that's not always easy to hear, but sometimes we need to stop being nice to ourselves and give ourselves a wake-up call, a bit of a kick up the backside, one might say. If you're sitting there thinking, I've been stuck for months or even years and I know exactly what I need to do, but I just haven't done it, or my health has gotten worse and I know it's my fault because I've done X, Y, Z and not A, B, C, well, this is your moment of truth. Because here's one cold, harsh reality. No one else can do this for you. No one else can get you from where you are to where you want to go. Yes, info in this podcast can guide you with the best information and resources. As one of our members, we give you the tools, ongoing support and encouragement. Your family members can support you, but the actions are yours to take. Let's go back to Frank's story. Frank didn't end up on insulin and multiple medications because he didn't know what to do. He ended up there because he didn't take any action. He kept waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect plan, waiting for life to slow down, waiting for the right time. But guess what? Life doesn't slow down. There is no perfect moment. You have to create the change you want, even when it's inconvenient or even perhaps difficult. And here's a bit of tough love that I say with care. Excuses will keep you stuck. I don't have time. I'll start next week. I'm too tired. Believe me, I've heard them all. I've even used them myself at different times. But here's the thing. Excuses are comforting, yes, but they're also the chains that keep us in the same place. Yes, change can be hard, but do you know what's harder? Struggling with your health year after year. Feeling like you're trying to claw your way out of that dark hole over and over again. Feeling exhausted and frustrated because nothing is improving. Watching things get worse because you didn't take action. Living with that stuff, that's harder. If you truly want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to recognize your excuses for what they are and push past them. You have to have the guts to admit to yourself, okay, my life is crappy right now. So what am I going to do about that? Am I going to continue living this crappy life, or am I going to take action and actually do something about it? Thinking about it won't change it. Wishing it won't change it. The reality is, you may have to dig deep, but only you can take action and do something about it. So, do something about it. Tough love is about holding yourself accountable without beating yourself up. Again, it's not about perfection, it's about honesty. Did you follow through on your habit today? Yes or no? If not, what can you do differently tomorrow? That's it. No blame, no guilt, just honesty and action. Even if you've been stuck for years, even if your health has declined, you can start again today, right now, one small step. That's all it takes to begin, but no one can take that step for you. So, how do you get from where you are to where you want to go? It all comes down to small, consistent actions, proactive management, and a bit of tough love when you need it. If you've taken anything away from this episode, I want it to be this. You are in control. No matter how long you've been stuck, no matter how many times you've tried and felt like you've failed, you can always start again. There's no timeline. There's no deadline. What matters is that you take that first step and then the next and the next. I believe in you. I've seen people in all kinds of sticky situations take control of their health one step at a time and completely change their lives. You can do it too. So, what one small thing are you going to do today? Until next time, take care of yourself. Dr. Jetta, over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to Type 2 Diabetes Talk. Please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. And for episode replays, episode notes, and more, visit type2diabetestalk.com. New episodes are available Tuesdays, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, or your time zone equivalent. Thanks again. We're truly grateful to be a part of your life and help make a real difference.